Let's continue. This is the clip, guys. I'm gonna play it right now.
I was going to ask you if you could describe from a psychological perspective what you think cancel culture actually is and where it stems from.
Well, there's a malevolence aspect to it, which is just the delight that people can take in being destructive. And that's part of the whole constellation of, let's say, antisocial behavior. But there's a more subtle element to it, which is reputation inflation. So the most valuable thing you possess by any stretch of the imagination is your reputation. And your reputation basically, I wouldn't call it a status marker exactly. It's a productive generosity and competence marker. And so if you have a good reputation, then people can trust you, and they can trust you to engage in reciprocal productive interactions with them. They can trust you to take their interests into account as well as your own, and to play stable, voluntary, desirable, medium to long-term games. And so nothing is more valuable than your reputation. And what that means is that people try to game the reputation system. And that's what narcissists do, and Machiavellians and psychopaths. They call that the dark triad. There's a lot of research investigation into dark triad personality cluster, and it's a variant of antisocial behavior. And narcissists have the confidence of the competent without the competence. And so what they do is overclaim their contribution. So if you work with a narcissist, everything that goes wrong is your fault, and everything that goes right is their doing. And they will loudly proclaim that, especially.
I was just saying that a couple of minutes ago.
Yeah.
Regarding the politicians.
Yeah.
It's guys out, but
yeah, but you do see, especially in social media, a lot of people are, I don't know if they can be referred to as narcissists, but they do. Let's say social media has caused many people to develop narcissistic tendencies, in which it's not about being in the moment anymore, but it's about showing everyone, let's say showing people how happy you are, and when you're mad, you don't protest anymore, you just go online and try to cancel someone. And by doing so, you also come, or at least wish to come across as the white knight who has the courage to combat evil, or at least that's how they would. That's how they regard it. Yeah.
They perceive it as you're the evil one in that case.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll continue with the.
And everything that goes right is their doing. And they will loudly proclaim that, especially to their superiors, and denigrate you like mad if you dare to offer a counter proposition. And narcissists, it's a camouflage strategy in some sense. The narcissist passes him or herself off as a competent and confident person. And one way of elevating your reputation is to claim unearned moral virtue. And so a huge part of what motivates the woke nonsense that insists that the mere reflexive act of feeling sorry for someone constitutes a moral virtue is an attempt to claim a reputational status without having to do any of the work whatsoever to be a genuinely good person. To be a good person, you have to be productive. That's hard. And you have to be generous. And that's hard. And you have to play medium to long-term, stable, voluntary games with other people. And that's hard. That's nothing but diligent, upward-oriented work over years puts you in that position. Whereas if you make a unwarranted moral claim, I'm compassionate, let's say, then instantly you're with the angels. And it also allows you to derogate those who you regard as predatory, let's say, and also enhance your moral virtue. Not only am I compassionate, and that makes me good, but and I'm on the side of the angels, but there are the snakes, and they're not in me at all, because I'm saintly in all regards. And so the snakes have to be somewhere. We all suffer from the problem of where to put Satan, that's for sure. And the most convenient place to put him is in someone else. And it's even more convenient if that redounds to your benefit and plays to your political aspirations.
I know a few.
That's
deep.
That's very deep. It reminds me of something I read a while back. I think it was from the author Ken Wilber. Do you know him by any chance?
Book?
Ken Wilber. Well, he has a lot of books, but he has a lot of books. He basically has an integral theory. And his books are, in his books, he tries to seek out. So the way I perceive it is he tries to understand the laws of the universe by taking different sciences, so psychology, sociology, physiology, etc., physics, and so from all aspects, theology, and tries to reach, and also various philosophies, to try to reach and understand basic principles of the universe. And he said, what he mentioned in one of his books is that, and one of his books, I think the book is called Integral Theory, I believe.
Might have heard of it. I haven't read it, but
check it out. But what he mentions in his book is that the people in the past who worship various gods basically projected different aspects of themselves to the outside world. So the god of love, the god of war, the god of water, the god of the underworld. These are all aspects of people whom they projected into gods, and then they worship the gods. So
you worship yourself.
Well, I don't know if it's worshiping yourself, but it's basically the way they did it. The god of rain, god of thunder. And what Jordan Peterson is saying now is more or less the same. Many people do not understand that in them they have good and bad. And when you know you have good and bad traits, what you will do is, and you're conscious of them, you can have control over them and try to use both for good, or at least in the best way as possible. But what I realized from a lot of people who claim that they are woke is, so what Jordan Peterson alluded to, they deny the fact that they have bad in them. And that's basically what he's saying. They project the bad into someone else. And then he words it in a very poetic way. They stand on the side of the angels. So
it's a great quote, man.
It's amazing. It's an amazing quote. But they stand on the side of the angels, and they can tell you, and they will pass out judgment. You're bad because of this. You're bad because of that. You're bad because you don't care. But perhaps that person who doesn't care about a certain situation, or it doesn't see things the way you see it, does more for people in need than you do. And what I've noticed a lot of times, that's the case as well. Woke people oftentimes they talk a lot. They like posting shocking quotes, posts on social media to shock you, or to trigger you, or to try to trigger you. But in reality,
themselves.
boast about themselves of how good they are. But if you ask me how often they will sacrifice a day in their weekend to go help out people who are in need, my answer is that in my experience, it doesn't happen as often as the ones that actually go out
to work.
things and go to work, as Jordan.
That's what Jordan is also saying. They do the work.
Yeah.
They don't do the work. They just project. So
they talk the talk.
They talk the talk. Yeah.